Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, and good evening. Depends on where you are in America, United States, Canada, and Mexico, and Australia, wherever you are. So welcome to the Lamrim teachings, Lamrim practice for today. The subject of the talk today is precious human rebirth and also impermanence of precious human rebirth and impermanence of life and also death and dying. So I will now go to the text, Lam First Panchen Lama's precious text called Delam here. So precious human rebirth. It means that other human being who has the opportunity to study Dharma, to listen to teachings, and receive teachings from master or lama, who is keeper of the teaching, keeper of the lineage or the lineage holder, and to listen and to study and practice Dharma. And when you have that kind of opportunity, and then your life is considered precious one, unique one, because not just as a human being, but you have the opportunity to study and practice Dharma, right? So now, according to the text here, talks about three scopes, also three levels of Lamrim practice, and or we call the person of first scope, person of the second scope, person of the third scope. So the Tibetan term for this is called Jiu Chungwa, Jiu Dingwa, Jiu Chenpo. Jiu means person who practice Dharma, who is practicing Lamrim. So he or she has different capacities, different mental inclination, and different ability to learn and study and practice. Also, the person has a different kind of motivation and intention and reason why you are practicing Dharma. So there are three scopes, a person of three scopes. So they have different motivations. And so I will now read the text here. Nipa nyingbo chitala me chola sum jiwu chungu dang tumu me lamje rambala lo jang jiwu ningda tumu me lamje rambala lo jang jiwu chimbu lamje rambala lo jang nipa nyingbo chitala me chola, which means, so after recognizing you have a precious human rebirth, you obtain the precious human rebirth, and then to maintain this precious human body, human life, and you have to practice and the Dharma, and to maintain your opportunity and maintain your ability, maintain your Dharma practice, and maintain your involvement with the Dharma, physically and mentally. You have to keep practicing. It is, in a way, like you have a car. You purchase a car, and you earn it. You earn the car. You say you earn a good car, a reliable car. So then once you have the car, you have to maintain the car, right? You have to make sure you tune up the car, change the oils, and also running on the road from time to time. You don't want to just sitting in the garage, otherwise get things get rusted and not so good for the engine and so forth. That's what I was told by my mechanic. I'm not a mechanic myself, and so batteries, everything. So I have to maintain, right? So kind of like that, because our human body, it has to be maintained. Our mind has to be maintained. Need a stimulation, intellectual exercise, meditation, and so forth. And so, according to Shanti Deva's text, Bodhisattva Charya mentioned about mi tula. Tibetan word mi tula means human life or human body is like a boat. And so the boat is same like a car, right? It's a vehicle. So you have to maintain the car, as I mentioned. Like that, you have a boat, you have to maintain the boat as well. I don't have a boat. I have no interest about having a boat. But I think it's wonderful to have a boat. And those people who have a boat, or you can go around the lake, you go around the river and cross the river, or even across ocean, whatever. So you have to maintain, and the purpose of the boat is you use the boat and maintain the boat and go from this shore to the other shore. And so car is like that. You go from one city to another city, one town to another town. And here we are, we have precious human body right now, human life, opportunity to practice Dharma. Then we go from here to next incarnation, next rebirth, and or we can go to Pure Lands, the Buddha realms, or you can go to basically enlightenment, state of enlightenment, your continuum, your mind, right? So we have to maintain. So here, Ningpo Chitalembe Cholasum. Ningpo is a Tibetan word which means essence. And how do we take the essence and get the essence and practice the essence of Dharma and so on? So there's three outlines here. So path and common path, how to cultivate this part of this first scope, how to cultivate, how to utilize and integrate with your mind. Likewise, the second scope and the medium scope and the great scope. So there's two outlines. First, how do we do the practice while you are in the session, meditation session, and how do you do this practice during the break time between the sessions? So first, while you're practicing, while you're in the meditation session, it has three parts, three outlines. Jorwa is preparation, Mu is actual practice, Juk is the final conclusion. Okay. So the preparation is always start with taking refuge to Guru and the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So as I mentioned before, this text, Lamrim Delam, is specially composed for practice. This is a practice manual, not so much describing the theory and philosophy, but it's like, you sit down and just do the practice, not so much talking. And if you want to know more details about intellectual parts and philosophy of Lamrim and so on, then you can explore, read the great Lamrim Chemo by Lama Tsongkhapa, or medium Lamrim and so on, right? This is practice manual. So here, So first you take refuge. I prostrate to Tuang Dorji Chang, Lord Buddha, the enlightened one, perfectly enlightened Buddha, and he is the embodiment of Jamne Kundu. He is the embodiment of all the objects of refuge, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So she by lane hinchi ngari tene da the simji tamji ko gena yuru shu do donga na so shiwa na so ba shi nywa de chiwa mataba masamshi. So then now myself and all sentient beings, we have been born in this world in samsara again and again and again many times, and we suffered a lot. We are going through a lot of suffering, and that's because we have not practiced Dharma effectively, and we have not practiced meditation on impermanence. We have not practiced properly on death, meditation on death and dying. Chewa mataba masamshin, nendu donga jinjine kuncho sonla, nyine jos masonwata. So without having the strong feeling about the sufferings of the three realms, and without strong feeling of taking refuge to the three jewels, we sort of neglect it in a way. And lende la yichi je teba jene kana lende la langdol suyi majeba lemmer. And also on top of that, we have not practiced karma, law of cause and effect, and we have not practiced virtuous karma. I have not practiced abandonment of non-virtuous karmas, and effectively. And although we know what karma means, so we have not really practiced the karma. Lembrandu, da the Sinji Julam, Choa Madama Tambata, Nendu, Donga Jinjini, Kunjos and Hini Josen do. So now I take vow, now I make a commitment that and that myself, my life, and the life of other sentient beings are transient and impermanent. And I recognize that strongly. And also, sentient beings are suffering. Myself also got some suffering. So, therefore, in order to protect myself from suffering, in order to protect sentient beings from suffering, and protect sentient beings from three lower realms, and I take refuge to Buddha, I take refuge to Dharma, I take refuge to Sangha, Kuncho Sumla, Nyingne Doshi. I take refuge to the three jewels from the depths of my heart, deep from my heart. Sincerely, I take refuge. Nyingne Doshi. Lende la yichi teba jene, tikpong gewa tsuji tuba nuba, lama leshilos. Then, on top of that, I will practice law of cause and effect. I will learn about law of cause and effect, the karma. I will study karma. I will practice karma. Lendela yi chichiteba. I will have a strong faith in the karma, the cause and effect. I know cause and effect. I know how it works. Although karma, it can be very profound and deep, and the karmic connections are very difficult to understand everything, how it works. But I do know karma, so I know the cause and effect. And when you create a certain cause, and then the result will ripe on myself, and the cause and the result, the karma, are similar, always similar. And so therefore, I pray to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. I take refuge to Guru. Say, please help me, inspire me to be able to practice meditation on impermanence, meditation on death and dying, meditation on karma. Okay, and he is what the Lama. So then after that, so you see, now you're practicing, right? So you have visualized Shakyamuni Buddha in front of you. And Shakyamuni Buddha is the embodiment of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Gurus. Then imagine beautiful 5 colors of light emanating from Shakyamuni Buddha's crown, forehead, throat, heart, and navel. All the colors of light shining. Light descending, and light dissolving into myself, into my body, and also imagine the light is dissolving into the body of all the other sentient beings around me, and sentient beings all over the world, everywhere. And then imagine myself and all sentient beings. Their minds purified, mind is purified, body is purified, speech is purified, everything is purified. And then he says, Lu Tangsel Veji Ranjin to Ranjin to Chor. So then imagine my body and the body of all the other sentient beings purified. And not only that, I imagine my body is clear. Tang, Tibetan word tang means clear. Selva means kind of with brightness. Okay, tang is like clear. It's like, say, I'm holding here clear glass, right? Clear glass. And tang selva means it's sort of bright, and you can see the brightness on the side of the glass. Tang sel. This is a tang sel. And then my body is clear, and there's kind of brightness in my body. Then imagine my body become like a nature of light. My ordinary body, human body, normally my human body is composition of bones and flesh and skins and so on and so forth. But this time it's all transformed into beautiful, clear light. The light is going funny here, a little bit dark, a little bit white. Keep changing, I'm not sure why.
Because the light from the shade here.
Yeah.
It's over here.
So, okay, so imagine my body is clear, very clear and bright and beautiful, okay? So you meditate this way, and not just only myself, and also the bodies of other sentient beings, and so on. So you concentrate on that for a little bit. Then so then imagine, after that, imagine your lifespan is increased, your virtues increased, your merit is increased. Sedang sonam, Tibetan word. So sedang, se is lifespan, sonam is virtues, and sedang sonam, sonam lasobi. Yonde tamji, all the knowledges and increase, potentials are increased. Then imagine my realizations, Dharma realizations are increased. Okay, so this is the preparation, all that. Preparation meditation. And it's basically purification, receiving blessings from the Guru Shakyamuni, preparation. Now, actual practice. The actual practice of the small scope has 4 outlines here. First outline is Chiwa Madabasam, meditate on impermanence, death and impermanence. First outline. Second outline is Ngendu Dosaba, meditate on suffering of the lower realms. Third outline is Wincho Sumla Jobsundoa, taking refuge to the 3 jewels, Jewel Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. A fourth outline is Lendela Ichi Jeteba Jeba. Fourth outline is cultivate trust and faith in cause and effect, cultivate trust and faith in karmic cause and effect. That didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know.
And so those are the 4 outlines. Okay. Now the first outline, explanation of first outline. Lama Jura Gomba, Lama Lago Something. So now, wow, no, we didn't do anything. Something is up there, something going on. You see, you look at here, it's all dark on my right side of the face.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
Okay, try this.
So, yeah, that's better.
Okay.
I think some weird light's going. But this is good, perfect now.
Yeah, it's balanced.
Much better. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So we have some light issues here, as you see. So, so the fourth one is cultivating trust and faith in the karma, cause and effect. So while you're meditating, visualizing the Guru Shakyamuni above your crown, and and then meditate on death and dying. So, so here now there's a different outline here about death and dying. Chida ngiba onla, de nang ki jing gangi jo doba do meba. Tela nomba mejing di jeba and di jeba par and di je parmacheba je sombe che chu chalomeba chewa nides. So there's 4 outlines about the death and dying. So here, this is a classical Tibetan text. We have all these outlines. Okay, the first one is Chewa Ngiba Hungla. So now I will explain on this. So it says Chewa Ngiba Hungla means death is definite. Okay, so there is nobody who lives forever. Nobody lives for a long time, and death is definite. Everybody dies. So when you look at the history, going back, like all the famous teachers, masters, even enlightened teachers, they left their bodies. And the famous kings, queens, they're gone. And famous emperors and empresses, they are gone. And the most wealthy person on earth is gone. And at the moment on earth, we have wealthy people, billionaires. These people are also will be going. And there's nobody live on earth. And there is no human race in the future that's going to live for a long time or forever. And because human body and human life has a limit, like everything else, there's a limit for life of animals, insects, and so on and so forth. There's a limit. Lives of gods, demigods, and they have their own limits. Even celestial beings in the form realm or formless realm, they also have limits. And so nothing is made here forever. And as a living being or human being, death is definite. Everything is impermanent. Even the earth where we live on, this earth is also has a limit, has a time it can expire or it can destroy it. And according Hindu tradition, they talk about the view is that Brahma creates the world, and then Vishnu sustaining the world, and Shiva will destroy the world. And so these three gods, Trinity, and so Brahma creator, Brahma creates everything, the creator, right? Then Vishnu is the God, is very kind, and he's sort of this maintain the place, maintain the world. And then when it's no longer good anymore, and the karma of the earth is expired, and also living beings, living creatures like us who don't appreciate this earth, we take too much, we use this earth, and we polluting the earth, destroying the earth ourselves. Then earth had enough itself, and then Shiva will destroy the earth. So now this is sort of literal meaning, right? And then that there's another way of interpreting is who is Brahma, who is Vishnu, who is Shiva, right? Is usually says they are the gods, right? So, but in one sense, from a karmic point of view, and Brahma is karma, Vishnu is karma, Shiva is karma. So when the karma come together, so this is from the Buddhist point of view. In Buddhism, we don't talk about Brahma creating the earth and Vishnu sustaining, Shiva destroy earth, right? Karma, the collective karma, group karma created the world. That's sort of the equivalent of Brahma. And then the group karma and sustaining the earth and trying to maintain this earth, trying to help this earth. Right now, there are lots of people are conscious about environment and conscious about climate and preservation of the earth and clean up the ocean and trying to stop creating pollution and so global consciousness, right? This kind of thinking, this kind of consciousness and preservation is Vishnu consciousness. And then naturally, when the karma is over, then that's called the Shiva destroy. So when Shiva destroy, actually means when the karma runs out, then the earth destroys itself, kind of. It just basically collapse and fall apart, right? And the other explanation on according Abhidharma says this sun, the great sun we have, the Surya, and get hotter and hotter and hotter, 7 times hotter than now, then earth will be completely burned. For example, even the earth, the sun is, if it get hotter twice, imagine how hot it can get. There will be probably not many creatures live on this earth, right? It will be gone. Then it will get 3 times hotter, 4 times, 5 times, 7 times, so hot, then it will be like a toast, gone. And so that kind of destruction is called Shiva, right? So everything has a limit, time. So therefore, death is going to happen to us. Death is definite. And so what is the view, Buddhist view on death? Like death and dying, is death is a bad thing, or what it is? Death is a good thing, or what is death? So a definition of death. You see, what is death? And so death is when the body, the mind, can no longer sustain, cannot stay together. And when karma of life is exhausted, the karma of life expired, and then our body cannot support our consciousness, and especially certain prana we have a prana in our consciousness, in our heart, which is called life sustaining prana, and that prana is exhausted. The prana cannot support the consciousness, and then consciousness separate from the body. Consciousness goes, and the body dies. Or in other words, if you want to go into details, like brain dies, and heart dies, liver, kidney dies. Well, I'm not sure which one who dies first, and I don't think there is one kind of order. But it's just enough. If your heart dies, and then you die, or your brain dies, and then you die, right? And then your body dies, and then your consciousness is gone. And so then people might say, "Oh, his mind is also died," but we don't. In Buddhism, we don't use the word mind died. Consciousness actually doesn't die. Consciousness is a continue from previous to this life to next life. Everything continue. Everything's continue. The body continue. Even the body continue too. Even though this body is does not remain same body, same shape, same kind of body. It dissolve back to earth, and then it's turned into something else. For example, you cremated your body and become ashes. You put it into the soil, then it becomes a rich soil. Then it becomes the cause for beautiful flower or beautiful tree or whatever you want. It becomes the cause. So then it's still there. And when the flower or the tree dies, back to the soil, and then creating another kind of soil, bacteria, or plants, and continue. Everything is continued. Just like everything else, the nature, you look at the forest, some tree dies, that tree becomes soil for the next generation of trees, and then tree get bigger, and that tree dies some point, become another tree or flowers, and the flowers and fruits become food for the birds and animals and bees and so on. So all nature is all interconnected, intertwined, and everything supports everything. Never finished. It just continue. Everything continues. Cycle, go around and around. Life cycle. And so our body goes on like this, and our mind goes on and on. And but interesting thing is the mind is always mind. Mind does not transform into matter. Consciousness we call mind stream. Simji ju, Tibetan word. Simji ju. Sim is mind. Ju is continue. So this is definition of death. So your mind is no longer with the body, left the body, and you no longer breathing, of course, and then your consciousness, whenever the consciousness left the body, then that is called death. So according to Tibetan teaching and Buddhist teaching, once the person is no longer able to breathe in and out, and then you still not quite sure your consciousness is still remain with the body or not. According to teaching, the consciousness remain in the body up to 3 days. 3 days. It can remain with the body for 3 days. After the third day, then it naturally leaves the body. So, and so you leave it this way. Don't disturb the body. Don't disturb the mind of the dying person. And this is an opportunity, a good opportunity for the family and friends and to do meditation and prayers, because if you wrap up, as soon as stop breathing and take it away body, then no time to do practice, no time to process. You need to process. It's very important, right? Important to feel. Look at the face, look at the hands, look at the body of the person, and you can feel. Then you can feel the death and dying, and you learn about what is death and what is dying, and then you do meditation, prayers for the person. Then it is a very honorable thing to do. You have opportunity to pray for the dying person, and you have time to repay kindness to that person. You have time to share your feelings and love, devotion. You have a chance to share your grief and sorrow and joy and gratitude, appreciation, everything. It's all come together. It's just not just one way, the other way. Everything, right? Life is everything. Life is full of everything. Life is so many. So when someone's dying in front of you, so much happening there, right? So much happening. We usually don't have time, don't pay attention, and people are scared. People don't want to deal with death. Or if the person is dying in the hospital, then it's difficult because they won't let you stay there, or they won't keep the body very long. This is why it's more conducive and more healthy if the person is dying at home, or dying in a cabin, or dying in the temple, or dying in the hermitage somewhere, right? So you can pray and meditate, then you can process. Processing is very important. Natural death, right? Naturally dying. It's like natural birth. Everything natural, right? So then 3 days good, and 3 days probably long enough anyways, and process, and on some degree, not totally. And and you can't keep the body too long anyway. Depends on where you are. If you're in a cold climate, and that's okay, maybe you can keep it longer than that. And if it's hot climate, tropical place, then and not possible, difficult, unless you have air condition and so forth. And you do, and depends on the body, nature of the body too. And some bodies of holy lama, bodies of yogi or yogini, and does not have any odor, does not have any smell. Instead of bad odors, you have amazing fragrance, smell like a perfume or flowers, and beautiful energy. The whole inside the room is beautiful energies, glowing. It's beautiful. And so you keep the body for 3 days, and then time to move. And when you move, you don't grab from the leg, or don't grab from the hand, or lift up suddenly the body. You first touch on the crown here, and the Brahma aperture here. So this, when in case the consciousness still remain in the body, as soon as you touch, the consciousness goes straight up from the crown. You touch on the crown, say mantras, and then you move the whole body. Okay, so now I'm talking about death is definite, and what is death, right? And so this is very important for us to know, to think about, and talk about, and since it's all going to happen to everybody, and it will happen to myself, right? So, chiwa niwa onla, deyang chinang jing gangi dodu me badans. So now, when the real death comes and the life is exhausted and time run out, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing you can do to stop it. You cannot you cannot rescue by a machine. You cannot rescue by drugs. You cannot, well, there are some machines you can keep the body or mind more or less for sometimes a long time, sometimes. And maybe some law, according government, a law said you have to keep the body. I don't understand. And you should not unplug life-sustaining those technologies. And I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with those terminology. And well, life-sustaining, it's only temporary, right, short time. And nothing can sustaining for forever or long time. So I also, what is the point? And the mind is going, body is going, then let it go, let it happen naturally, right? Anyway, so there is nothing you can do to stop it, and perhaps better not trying to stop it, right? If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Whatever happening there depends on the karma. We say karma willing. Tela number making, di je paramache bada jes. So tela number making, number makings. So there's nothing you can do to maintain your life when the time is run out. So in other words, generally speaking, we have teaching and practice methods that will sustain your life, make your life longer. You can live longer, another 3 years or 5 years, 10 years, whatever, right? We have a long life sadhana practice. We have long life teachings. For example, 3 famous long life Buddhas practice. White Tara, Amitaya's Buddha, and Namgyalma, Ushnisha Vijaya, and 3 deities. And Amitayas is a male, red-colored one. He is the emanation of Amitabha Buddha. And White Tara is Tara. And then there's Namgyalma. She is a female Buddha. And so you can do those practice for life sustaining, extending the lifespan. Also, there is a white Hiruka practice. There is a yellow, yellow Yamataka is different. It's a prosperity. Yeah, so white Hiruka practice. So there's a different kinds of methods, right, for making your life, extending your life, your long life practice. Visualization, mantra recitations, meditation, and that combined with also, for example, white Hiruka practice, combined with the prana meditations, and combined with the certain yogic exercise, and and also trying to live a healthy lifestyle and right kind of diet, eat the right food, do exercise, and trying to reduce the stress and live in a peaceful environment, quiet environment, conducive places, and so on and so forth, trying to achieve longevity, right? And in not only Buddhism, the Taoists also have a teaching called longevity, eating the essence, like the fruits and nectar and so on and so forth, do lots of Qigong practice and so forth. And so we have lots of teachings, we have methods, we have initiations. You can live longer. And I have a story. One of my students, she was diagnosed, she had a lung cancer from smoking. This was back in 1985. 85. She lived in Australia, in Tasmania. 85, and the doctors diagnosed and said that she got 2 years to live. 2 years to live. That was 1985. Okay. And then she meditated. She does lots of practice. She was a very good person. And I gave her Tara initiation, medicine Buddha initiation. She did a Tara practice. And then she only passed away 2000, I think it was 18. So that's how many years now? From 1985, 95, 2005, 2015. She lived for 32 years after the doctors diagnosed, saying she got only 2 years to live. She lived 32 more years. That's a long, long time. You know? And I saw her 6 months before she passed away. It was in 2018, I believe. And so this is how it works. What I'm saying, it works. Long life practice works if you really practice, if you believe, you know. And I'm not saying there's a guarantee, but it does work. And anyway, so there are methods for longevity. Otherwise, when the karma, basically karma is run out, expired, there's nothing we can do. Tell another meeting, and there are many obstacles for longevity and bad conditions, and so the shortening our life, right? Obstacles for life. What are the obstacles? Life is many things like karma and genetic dispositions and lifestyle, and cause that lifestyle causes a short life. For example, drinking too much or eating the wrong food or too much stress and too much self abuse or self destruction and stressful life. And there's so many issues in life, so much drama in life, suffering in life, and injuries and accidents, and so on and so forth. Just a list to go on. Those things cause problems for longevity and depleting our lives, quality of our lives, and so on. Okay, some people say, here it says, many people die, even the Dharma person, and they die without opportunity to practice Dharma, without time for Dharma practice. And unfortunately, some people die, thinking that he or she would like to do lots of practice, meditation, retreats, and live healthy life, do Dharma practice. But suddenly, karma ran out, something happened. In Tibetan word, means no time to practice Dharma, then die. And Chua Masi Namchi Langibamit. Yeah, so then it says, also, generally speaking, there is no certainty about life and how long one will live. No one knows, you see, unless you are psychic, you are clairvoyant, you might know about your future. Otherwise, we don't know. So we can only hope we can live a long time and have opportunity to practice Dharma. We do our best, right? We don't know and when this can happen. And, any death can come to any time for anybody. There is no certainty. Even children dies, infant mortalities, and children die, unfortunately. And before the parents die, or before even the grandparents die, and children dies, and middle-aged people die, and adults, and people die while they are working in the office, or they die on the way to work and never come home. Some people die on the bed. You go to bed, never wake up, and it's very uncertain. And it says in the Kadamba teachings, Kadamba Geshe's famous sayings, life is like a bubble, and life is like a ripple of the water. And it just keep going, keep moving, and uncertain. Life is like dream is so short, and you go to bed, have a dream, and wake up. It's like so many things happens in life. In dream. Some people have long dreams, a lot of things. Then when you wake up, it's all gone. It's like that at the end of the life, and when you're about to die, then you look back, what I did, what did I do, what I didn't do. It's all gone now. It's just gone, right? And life like a dream. Life is like drama. Life is like a play. Life is like gathering, like festivals, like weddings or birthday parties, and religious events or spiritual festival. Kind of lots of things happening, and then suddenly gone. After the weekend, it's gone. After 1 week, gone. After 2 weeks, it's gone. Just like that. Anytime death can come, and never know the cause and conditions. There's so many cause and conditions for death and dying. And and also, generally speaking, there are some parts of the world system, some parts of the world, certain world, life is longer. Living beings live long. Like, so, for example, life of gods, they live long. Life of demigods, they don't live very long, but longer than us. And again, along human life, there's a different realms. What we call different continents, and Jambudipa and south and north, west, east, different continents, and they have a different kind of lifespan. And as human beings who live on this earth is called Jambudipa, and there is a limit. You see now, maximum, I don't know, these days about 90 or 100, and 100 probably maximum, right? 90 and it's 80 and whatever, right? And not many people live over 100, and yeah. So so there's a more cause and conditions of death, less cause and conditions of life. Lu it says the life is short, and death can happen very quickly. It says here it's like as I said before, a bubble or a ripple of the water. And so now there is another concept in Zen tradition, Zen Buddhist tradition, which is called daily or momentary, sorry, not daily, momentary death. Momentary death. Momentary death, momentary birth, momentary life, all same. It's all happening. So momentary death means that momentarily we are dying. Momentarily. For example, when you breathe in and you breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breath stays in the body a little bit, and then breathe out. And likewise, your birth, see, I'm live right now, and then my body, my mind is constantly living, continuously living, and continuously experiencing karma, continuously consuming things in our consciousness, continuously using this mind and body. For example, body continuously using this body, consuming, right? You drink water, drink tea, coffee, eat food, burning out, burning in the body, digesting in the body. And then soon, food is digested and you're hungry. And soon, the water, juice, whatever you drank is consumed. And then you are thirsty and you need to drink more water, right? And you need tired. You need sleep because you're tired. Why do we get tired? Because body is run out, energy run out. Different kinds of energies: earth, water, fire, earth, water, fire, and vitalities and chi and whatever. The energy is running out, right? Then you're tired, and then you need the rest. You need to go to bed or have a nap, sleep, then regain the energy, right? So the body is constantly used, and likewise, mind is constantly also used because our mind is very busy and thinking about things, and by condition, and thinking about things, doing things, and then mind is tired, exhausted. This is why you need rest. The mind needs to rest. This is why we meditate. Meditation is very important. Most people who don't meditate don't know. The mind needs to be resting. They think sleeping is the only thing you need, or do some kind of entertaining the mind, stimulating the mind, like a battery, keep going and then it charge by charging, right? But mind need to rest, not doing anything, not to keep busy charging like a battery, or even just sleeping. Sometimes it doesn't help either. The more you sleep, you get more tired. I know myself. I can sleep for 10 hours, then I'll be so tired. And my back is hurting, lying down too long. Then you need to walk, move around. Mind need to be awake, doing things. So the mind is continuously used. That's why meditate, sitting quietly doing nothing, as Zen say, and also in Tibetan tradition, Mahayana, according Mahamudra, we talk about resting the mind in a natural state, resting the mind in a natural way, rest, doing nothing, resting. Stop thinking, stop doing, resting. This is wonderful, good for the mind. This is luxurious, just doing nothing, resting the mind. Meditate, sit, meditate, resting the mind in a natural way, Mahamudra approach. First, the very first step of Mahamudra meditation, resting the mind. In Tibetan word, nalso, and resting. Nalso deva topa sho, which means may you have a pleasure of be able to rest in your mind. And it's a kind of luxurious, right? So then you rest in your mind. So, like I'm talking about momentary death. So the mind is using all the time, body is using all the time. Momentarily, the body is dying, mind is dying. Momentarily, we're experiencing death. Also, momentarily, we're experiencing birth as well. The mind change, body change, new fresh body coming, fresh energy coming, fresh chi coming into your body, fresh thoughts entering your mind, fresh ideas coming, fresh realizations arising. You get realization. This is the birth of mind, birth of consciousness, birth of wisdom, birth of awakening mind, fresh coming, right? So death, birth, duration, it's all happening. This is called momentary death, momentary birth, momentary living. Continue. It's a short circle, short cycle. A longer cycle is like death, bardo, rebirth, right? You die, then being in bardo, and then reborn, and then back to birth again, right? And then old age starts between, and then death starts again. So right, go around, wheel of life. This is why we call wheel of life. And pratija samupadra, Sanskrit word, wheel of life. In Tibetan word is sipa kolo. Sipa means samsara. Kolo is wheel. Sipa kolo, the wheel of life, wheel of samsara. And wheel of birth, wheel of death, wheel of life. So this is why meditating on death and dying is very, very important. Well, now, so what is the? So we all know. I mean, everybody knows we die one day. It doesn't matter whether you're Buddhist or not, or Dharma person or not, right? Everybody knows. And but the question here is, what is the benefit of meditating on the death and dying? What does it? What does it do in terms of Dharma practice? Yes, that's a good question. And the answer is that meditation on death and dying, meditation on impermanent is very important. It says in the Kadamba teachings, according to Kadamba Lama, says you should meditate on impermanence in the beginning. You should meditate impermanence in the midway. You should meditate impermanent at the end of the, let's say, day. And so when you wake up in the morning, meditate on death and dying, impermanent. And halfway through the day, meditate on impermanent. And then end of the day, meditate on impermanent and death and dying. And so how does that work? If you do that all the time, don't you think it sort of makes you feel depressing? It's always like thinking about dying all the time, what's the point of then? And what's the point of doing this? And so why don't you think about living instead of dying? There's a book called Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Soja Rinpoche. Beautiful book. Actually, I haven't really read that much myself, and but I heard it's a wonderful book. I think it is a very, very good book. It's Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, right? Living. So people say, why not practice on living and instead of dying? Well, actually, you don't really have to meditate on living or think about living. Most people around the world always thinking about living. And in other words, most people, they always think about, how do I survive, right? You look at, especially in third world countries, Africa, India, Bangladesh, and many countries like countries, people live with such poverty and dense population, and life is very hard. So always thinking about living. How do I live? How do I survive? Living. And but basic level, right? How to live. And people think about that, how to live, right? And do I have to think about meditate on living? Well, some ways yes, and some ways no. But I guess it depends on what kind of quality of life, quality of living. Everybody knows how to live, some degree, how to live and for survival, right? But then many people also don't know how to live healthy way, wholesome way, quality of living. They don't know quality of living, quality of life. They have no idea what the quality of life. They never had one in the first place. You never had a quality of life. Then how can you think about quality of life? You can think about some other people, rich people running around and driving fancy cars, wearing fancy clothing, jewelries and live in a big house. Is that quality of life? Well, I don't know. That's quality of life, and depends on the person, right? Some people, well, really wealthy and have big house, boats, and lots of money in the bank, driving fancy cars. I don't think they have a quality of life because they have too much stress, fear, anxiety, anger, jealousy, competition, and more you have wealth, more you have money, more you have everything, become a curse, right? And a lot of people, money is curse. Money doesn't make you happy. Money makes you have a comfort, but curse. And for example, a long time ago, those Bedouin Arabs live in a yurt, chasing camels and goats, and have simple life, peaceful life, and live along the wadis and oases, and simple life. Nighttime you see beautiful, beautiful blue sky and stars. In daytime you have beautiful sand dunes, camels, horses, the most magnificent horses. You ride Arab horses, the best horses in the world. You have good life, you know. But now you have oil, so much money, and then machine guns and airplanes, wars after wars, sectarian wars, and money is cursed. No time to ride these beautiful horses. No time to sit under the stars at night, and no time to live in yurts. And you should sit inside the concrete buildings, watching television in front of you, watching TV, and competition, jealousy, anger, and among themselves, each others, and sectarian wars, and curse. So it's sad, and that's what happens. So people have a lot of things, but doesn't not necessarily have quality of life. That's not quality of life, you know. And quality of life is like a simple yogis or yoginis live in a pristine wilderness and eat fresh vegetables and fruits and nuts, seeds, and meditate and drinking beautiful clean water from the mountain streams and breathing fresh air like some Buddhist monks, nuns, or Hindu sadhus or Taoist yogis. This is what I call quality of life and a beautiful life. Okay, so so at the time of death, what does the most beneficial thing for you? It says, according to Lamrim, at the time of death, Dharma practice, spiritual practice, is the only one can be helpful. Other rest is not very helpful. Doesn't really help you, as I said, the wealth, money, all that, call it those kind of doesn't help. And not only help, the opposite. When you have all that, so much power, money, wealth, and prestigious, and this and that, you got so much to worry about and think about what to do, what's going to happen after I'm gone, who's going to inherit all that, and I don't want people who are not my relatives take it away, or someone suddenly shows up saying I'm your relative, I'm your nephew, or I'm your niece, I'm your distant relative, whatever, and somebody's wasting, and this and that, then they're not helping. They're actually harms you. The material things, very destructive thing, becomes inconvenient for the dying person. The most beneficial thing for the dying person is Dharma practice. So then some people ask questions, well, isn't it too late? When you're dying, then Dharma practice helps. Yeah, and because now you don't have time to practice, you're dying, right? Well, yes, you're dying, you don't have much time, but you had time, you practiced Dharma up to now, that Dharma is with you, the knowledge is with you, and the good karma is with you, Merit is with you. Virtue is with you. Not only that, just now you practice Dharma while you're dying is most important Dharma practice. At the time, the moment of death, dying, practicing Dharma is the most powerful, most important. And so how do you practice, right? Well, if you've been practicing Dharma a long time, you can practice at the moment of your death. You can meditate on love, compassion, rejoicing, you can practice metta and karuna, loving kindness, right? Rejoicing. And you could meditate on love. You could meditate on guru devotion. You can meditate on devotion to your yidam deity. You can meditate on mantras and dakas and dakinis. You should do, most important thing is you could do powa practice, transferring your consciousness to Buddha land, Pure Land. And if you're not sure how to do it, you ask your best friend or spiritual friend or mentor or your partner or your friend to do power practice with you and for you. Even though you haven't done a lot of practice in this life, do power at the time of dying. And this is the most beneficial. This is worth more than anything else. You might have $60 billion and $50 billion useless, finished. You can't take even one penny. You can't take one loonie. In Canada, we call loonies. $1 is loonie. $2 is called toonies. You cannot have one loonie. You can't use it. Okay. Or if you have millions, billions of dollars, nothing, finished. Forget about money. You can't even have this own body, the precious body that you have. You can't, you leave this body. You have to leave this body. The famous 7th Dalai Lama, Kelsang Gyatso, Gyawa Kelsang Gyatso, said that at the time of death, the king, the powerful king, and the beggar, too, are the same, equal. The king has to leave his palace, his family, queen and princess, and the beggar has to leave his shabby clothing, begging bowl, and walking stick. Leave. He leaves that and goes. And he leaves the body. The both might end up in the same bardo. The king, powerful king, and the beggar end up in the bardo. Hey, good to see you. And I thought I'll never see you. You're a king. And here we are. And the king said, yeah, I never thought I'll run into you. You're just poor little guy, beggar, you're a poor little creature. I'm the most powerful king. Now I'm not. And now I'm not sure what I'm doing. I don't know. It's karma willing, right? I'm in the bardo. Let's just spend time together. And all of a sudden, you two have become the buddies, maybe. Who knows, right? So that's what the 7th Dalai Lama said. Jabo Jeshi Shanindo, Dangbo Perka Shanindo. Tibetan word, Jabo Jeshi Shanindo. The king leaves his palace and his state, everything. Dome is gone. Dangbo Perka Shanindo. The beggar leaves his own walking sticks. Gone. So what else there? Nothing. The most beneficial thing is Dharma practice. So practice Dharma now, today, tonight, tomorrow, all the time. Practice Dharma. I'm telling you, it's like election times. Vote now. Okay? And like I saw Obama saying, vote now. Don't sit around. Vote now. I'm telling, practice Dharma now. Practice now. Doesn't matter how old you are, even if you're dying tomorrow, practice now is the most beneficial. If you're going to be around for another 5 years, 10 years, fortunate. You got lots of time. Practice. Or 15 years, 20 years. Wow, then it's bonus. More. Well, it doesn't matter. Practice now. is the most beneficial. Practice with joy, happiness. When you practice Dharma, you will be the most happy person. Your sorrow, your suffering, fear, anxiety will be gone. Practice Dharma is the best thing we can do. Makes us happy. When we are happy, makes our partners, friends, children, neighbors happy. Okay? Make them happy. Even the tree becomes happier. The earth becomes happier. And around you, your dog, cat, everybody around you are happy and healthy. We want happy and healthy environment. Yeah, this is what the precious. This is why Dharma practice precious. Dharma is the ultimate refuge. Okay, thank you very much. If you have questions, we got 5-6 minutes time for question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Wonderful teachings. Very clear. Ben Hume asks, does practice of virtues, generosity, help, etc., help towards longer life, bardo experience, or more positive karma for good rebirth conditions?
Okay, the question is a little bit too not so clear. It will help you have a longer time in bardo.
So, by being virtuous,
yeah,
does it help you to have a longer life?
Longer life.
Does it help you to have a better bardo experience, or give you better rebirth conditions?
Yes, possible. So it's possible you have a better death, time of death, and you have a better clarity, calm mind in the bardo. You can have a better rebirth also, and less confusion, and everything is good, possible. I'm not saying yes, definitely, possible.
Okay, good, thank you. Amanda asks, my non-Dharma friends and family often struggle with fear of death. They say they don't want to hear Buddhist ideas, but is there a way to help them with the fear?
Say again, what's the last part of the question?
So they're non-Buddhist, and they don't want to hear about Buddhist philosophies.
Right.
Is there another way to help them with their fear of death? Or how can you put it in a non-Buddhist way, I guess?
Well, it would be difficult because they already knew that you're Buddhist. And they're saying they don't want to hear about the Buddhist ideas. Then when you start talking, they might think, oh, you're going to tell them about Buddhist ideas, you know. Then sometimes best not to say anything. Silent. You know what I mean? What can I say? Well, I'm a Buddhist, but I'm not going to tell you Buddhist way of dealing with the dying. I'm going to tell you another way. And I like to tell you something that, like you, tell you, and I'm going to tell you something. Well, just before you die, you live big lottery, or you get some bonus. I'm joking, you know, that doesn't make any sense, right? Mm-hmm. I think when these people say, I don't want to hear about the Buddhist way of dying, I think they have some idea about already, because maybe they don't believe reincarnation, because Buddhists talk about reincarnation, right? Also, they also have some idea about Buddhists are just like the Hindus and Christians. They also talk about heaven and hells. So they don't want to hear about hell, don't want to hear about heaven either. And or they have some idea that Buddhists are atheists, basically, because Buddhism don't believe creator God. And then I don't want to hear the word, you know, there's no God. You don't tell me any of that. and then it's scary, if I don't believe God, then I'll go to hell. So anyway, don't tell me anything. I don't want to hear anything from you. That's what basically they're saying, right? So the simple advice I have is those kind of people, maybe it's good not to even talk about death and dying. Well, you just say, well, I would like to suggest you, when you die, you meditate on love and compassion. Not love and compassion. For yourself, for your family, everybody. Just love, meditate, love and compassion. So that would be best advice, because when you say you meditate in love and kindness, this got nothing to do with Buddhism. I shouldn't say nothing to do with Buddhism. What I'm saying is this is a universal thing, because everybody wants love and compassion. Buddhists, Hindu, Christians, and everybody talk about love all the time, right? And if you're irreligious, if you're atheist, you're neither Buddhist nor Christian, and just a regular, ordinary person, and of course you want to hear love and compassion, and meditate on love, or meditate on, maybe you can say, meditate on gratitude, meditate on compassion, and meditate on letting go. That's all I can suggest.
Okay, that's good. Very clear. Tsering asks, Rinpoche, can you clarify the relationship between karma and life-extending practices? Is the effectiveness of these practices dependent on one's karma?
The effectiveness of the long life practice.
Mm-hmm.
Can you turn off this? It's bothering me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. So, could you repeat that question again?
So the relationship between karma and long life practices.
Okay. So to be able to practice, to do long life practice, you have to have a good karma in the first place, right? If you have let me put it this way. If you have the opportunity to practice longevity practice like Vaitara, that means you already have a good karma. See, you from past life you had good karma, you were reborn as a human being. Now you have received Vaitara initiation, Amitaya's initiation, you have the teachings from your guru, then you do the practice, longevity practice. That means you have a good karma already. And you're doing the long life practice. And you can enjoy the result of longevity practice. And you can also continuously enjoy the good karma. While you're practicing long life practice, such as Vaitara and Amitaya practice, you are creating good karma. That is good karma. And because you're meditating on the Buddha, Vaitara, and Amitayas, right? In front of you or yourself as Amitayas, and practice and longevity. And you can dedicate this practice, your longevity practice, for not only yourself, you can dedicate for your brothers and sisters, to your guru, and also longevity for Dharma, and you dedicate, then you're creating merit. And so you're creating good karma and longevity all together.
Right. Good. Thank you. Mitchell asks, do you have any examples of the rainbow body achievement of Tibetan Lamas and Naljorpas?
Yes, I have lots of stories or examples.
Yeah, stories, examples. Yeah.
Well, I personally have not seen somebody's body suddenly, slowly change into rainbow body, boom, I haven't seen one, like watching movies. I have not seen one. I will tell you, I seen photography. That was a photo of Karmapa, the 16th Karmapa. He was in Chicago or Rumtik in India somewhere, sitting on a throne, wearing a black hat and doing black hat ceremony. Somebody took a picture, and his entire body turned into rainbow. And there's still the shape of his face, shape of his crown, body, and his rainbow. And it's not like some kind of camera tricks, and not some accident happen, some camera thing. It looks like really painted, or it's quite unique. And so people say that the sign of he Karmapa, 16 Karmapa, achieved rainbow body. So that's just story of the photo and all that. But we do have the Tibetan word for rainbow body is called Jalu. Jalu, Ja. Ja is the rainbow. Lu is the body. Jalu Kachodu for Chinjilams. May I obtain the rainbow body of Kachur, Kichara Pure Land of Vajrayogini. So we have famous teachers in Gelug tradition, according Gandhin Airways lineage, great master called Tripchen Chodorje, Jawa Ensaba, Kedub Sanji Yishi. Actually, Togden Jambal Gyatso, he was a Lama Tsongkhapa's disciple. Tripchen Chodorje, Jawa Ensaba, Kedub Sanji Yishi. 4 lamas achieved rainbow body at the end of their life. And so what that means, when they're dying, the body got smaller, shrunk, and then dissolved, gone. And they say only thing visible is left is some mustache, some hair, maybe sometimes a little bit like maybe fingernails, few things like that. And of course the rope, and that's gone. And it's not something only afterward, but the disciples sitting in front, and they're sitting here and meditating together. The Lama is dying, right? And then disciples sitting there meditating, and they can witness his bodies get smaller and smaller, and then dissolve. So we have stories like that. Rainbow body.
Mm-hmm. Nice, thank you. Joan Scott says, I find the explanation of Song Rinpoche's passing is very inspiring. Do you have any thoughts on it?
No, I don't have. Does she have stories?
She just said she found the explanation inspiring, so I'm not sure what exactly she's referring
to. Well, I do know a little bit. I don't know exactly what happened there when I wasn't there. So he returned from Canada. I'll tell you a beautiful story. He was in Toronto, and I was there in Toronto with him. And then he went to Montreal. And that day, some reason, I didn't go to Montreal. And then 2 days before he was leaving, he asked his attendant, Tenzing, go to a department store called Eaton's. So he he bought lots of toys, and he bought lots of plastic apples. Well, not lots, some plastic apples, bananas, pineapples, things like that. And some plastic flowers. So the attendant said, Rinpoche, why are you buying plastic flowers, apples, and bananas, pineapples? He said, well, I want to put it on the altar because they look like real fruit and they don't go bad. In India, it's so hot, right? Insect problem and all this and that. Then the attendant said, why are you buying so many toys? Why? And he said, you will see. I don't need to tell you. So then when they went back to his monastery, Gandhin monastery, his attendant thought, well, he was going to give these toys to the boy monks, right? No, he didn't. He put it away under his bed. And then a few months later, he was passing. Actually, he wasn't ill at all. And the day before he passed away, he went to visit some older monks about his age, and he gave them presents, gifts, and say he thanked for these older monks, and the manager of the Gandhi monastery and the abbots. And he said, "Thank you so much. You people are very kind to me. You are so wonderful." He went around and sort of did the Thanksgiving. And then, so one morning, around, usually he have a breakfast early morning, like 7 or something, 7 or 8. And his attendant went in trying to serve him breakfast. The door was locked from inside. And then he thought, well, Rinpoche is maybe meditating now. And then 10 o'clock, he was trying to open the door. It's still locked. Then he thought, oh, this is not good. And then he forcefully opened the door. And he went inside. Rinpoche is gone. He was sitting on his throne. And he did power. And then after that, he was cremated. And the day he was cremated, 3 Indians came with big elephants. And the Indian guy said, we knew there's something happening here, special happening. And that was a good sign. And then after he was cremated, his body and his bones turned into small relics. And there was a footprint of child pointing the toes to north. And because Rinpoche died in South India, in Mungkod, right? And so long before he died, he said, I want to go to Kulu. I want to go to Kulu. Kulu is a holy place of Heruka Chakra Sambhara. And Vajrayogini, he said, I want to go to Kulu. So he never actually met there, didn't have time. So then, at some point, his incarnation was born in the Kulu, right up there, northern India. There's a small Tibetan family who run a small cafe. And their son, boy, was recognized as the incarnation of Sangha Rinpoche. Now, at the moment, his incarnation is, I don't know, about 30-something years old. He's a brilliant, great scholar, a wonderful Lama. I heard he's amazing and really good scholar. And he's finished his Geshe's degree in Mungkod at Gandhi Monastery.
Wonderful. Thank you, story. That's a great story.
And I don't know else. Joan might know more stories or heard stories.
She just said the official story from the monastery.
Yeah. The one I'm saying that?
I'm guessing so.
She's confirming my story?
No, she says so incredibly beautiful. Yes, brilliant. So.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question, John. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so you still have next Sunday, right?
That's right.
Before Vajrayogini retreat.
And I think the Sunday after, because we start on the Monday.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we start Vajrayogini retreat on February 22nd. Until then, we have 2 more Sundays, I think. Yeah, Sunday teaching. So see you next Sunday. Thank you very much. All the best. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Rinpoche. So I think.
Yeah.